Hey guys, it's Rob Neundorf from STR Accommodations, and I'm here live at the IMN 2024 event. I'm sitting here with a good friend of mine, Rich. Rich, why don't you take us 90 seconds and just tell us really quickly about yourself and about your business?
Yeah, absolutely, Robert. Thanks for having me on. So my business is based in Atlanta, Georgia. My wife and I have a short-term rental business that we've been focused specifically on short-terms for the past 9 years. We've done a lot of rehabs, purchased a lot of properties through tax liens, and had a lot of long-term rentals, and kind of made a decision about 9 years ago to convert everything over to short-term, and we haven't looked back since.
Wonderful. And we've known each other, what, about 2-3 years?
About 3 years, yeah.
Perfect. So as you know, we're just right now kind of just jumping into the industry. We're doing some peer-to-peer questions and just trying to get a general sense of some things and some questions about the industry. And then later on, we'll dive a little bit into some more intimate conversations and questions. But we'll just dive right in. Let's start. So how are you currently leveraging data analytics to optimize pricing strategy and to maximize your occupancy rates?
Yeah, so that's what we're all here to do, right? Is make sure we make more money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, so we've utilized, we used to use Wheelhouse, used that for quite some time. We've kind of jumped on the Price Labs wagon, a lot more data, a lot more functionality, a lot more flexibility to be able to create your own specific comp set. And so we typically rely on Price Labs for most of our pricing optimization. We've recently engaged with another friend in the industry, John N. with Tech Tape. I've struggled, like a lot of large operators, with having the time to be able to focus on revenue management, and came to the conclusion that rather than trying to train a VA or hire someone in-house, that I'd rather have a dedicated focus on that. So most of our business is around making sure that everybody kind of stays in their lane. I don't like getting involved with being, for example, a cleaning company, although it's very tempting to do so when 30 to 40% of your revenue is coming from the cleaning operation. And so I like to engage with other companies that kind of have that core focus and dedication, and it frees me up to kind of be able to focus on the growth of the company. And so that's a similar thing that we made the recent decision with the revenue management piece as well. But we do still use Price Labs for that process, and we rely on John's team to kind of maintain and do the focus on pricing.
Okay, appreciate that insight. Could you share a success story where a unique marketing approach significantly increased the bookings for your property?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of different types of properties over the years, and ranging from single family to multifamily to luxury lake properties. So I think one of the main things is creating an experience for the guest and creating that brand. That way that guests like consistency. And so we had a Midtown Atlanta building that we over time converted into short-term rentals. Like most of the units are up and running as a short-term rental. So it's kind of like a condo hotel situation. And so we made sure that the amenities, the rooftop view from the roof of the property was accessible with TVs and the ability for folks to kind of use that common area space. So I think when you're looking at different property types, you can kind of come up with unique things, and in your listing picture presentation, kind of focus on those. One of the things that we've implemented as well is that kind of makes us a little different, is incorporating people into the pictures so that you can basically show the real life experience of folks enjoying those amenities, whether it's a fire pit or a rooftop or a hot tub or a dock or a lake view fire pit, having folks kind of in the picture. We've used a lot of our real estate investor friends that are we're not using professional actors, but we found that that's helped kind of differentiate us and kind of show a difference in the listings. Folks that are looking at multiple different listings before they decide to book, that's going to jump out of them. There's got a bunch of people enjoying themselves at these different venues and at these different locations, and I think that makes a big difference.
In your experience, what are top 3 qualities that distinguish an exceptional short-term rental property from a good one?
Number one, I think it goes back to what we're all here to do, is get that 5-star experience. And so I actually like it when there's a problem, because then you can show your responsiveness and be able to remedy any kind of problem that comes up. And so we get better reviews if we had incidents that occur and we kind of were able to get those things remedied, versus where it's just nothing going on. And so it's the responsiveness, whether it's the guest communications piece, as well as having your team ready and able to be able to respond to things. And we're kind of a big fan of Instacart. It's a lot more economically sound to do that versus paying a cleaner $20 to go. We had a situation in one of our rentals today actually where the pots and pans needed replacing. They tried to make breakfast this morning. Within an hour, we had brand new pots for $50, delivered to that property. The guests happy, they're about how quickly we responded. Yeah, frown on us for not being able to determine that in our inspections with the cleaners, but it helps with improving the process as well. So I think that's kind of the number one thing, is to be able to enhance that guest experience and be able to be very responsive to any issues that come up. The second thing, I think a lot of us take it for granted. We talked briefly about listing pictures, but you really got to spend a lot of time and effort in the beginning, as well as periodically updating your listing pictures as well. That is a big part of the decisioning when folks are making their booking decisions, is not only the reviews, but also the pictures. And so we periodically will go and kind of, especially properties that have been uplisted and up and running for 6 months or a year, we'll go back and kind of add some different things and update our listing pictures as a result of that. Change around kind of the order, the first 4 or 5 that are showing up on the listing, and kind of make sure that you get that additional pop as a change.
What challenges have you faced in managing guest expectation, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, so it's always challenging when you have, and all of us have these guests that are just ultra picky. No matter what you do, you're not going to please them. And over time, we've gotten able to identify those types of guests earlier on. And so typically, what you can tell just from the initial, I just checked in, I'm sending you 50 pictures of things that we've noticed. We just want to make sure you're aware of them because we don't want to get blamed for it, right? So then what's next after that? So they're kind of teeing you up for, oh, we need a discount, or what can we do to appease us? And so it's making sure your guest communication team knows how to adjust and adapt their communication levels to different types of guests. You also have, we have Marriott Homes and Villas guests that are great, albeit a lot more pickier than most of the regular guests in terms that are on the Airbnb platform. And so you have to kind of adjust your communication level to those types of folks as well. They have more of that, expectation of amenities, and if there's not enough towels, they want towels there immediately. And so it's just a matter of adapting to the different type of guest and understanding the different type of guests and how you want to respond.
How do you see the future of short-term rentals evolving, and what steps are you taking to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, I mean, it's constantly evolving, and I think we've even adapted our overall portfolio structure just based on the makeup of the type of properties that we have. We've kind of gravitated away from some of the smaller 1-bedroom studio apartments to some of the higher end 4 and 5, 6 bedroom luxury homes. No matter what city you're in, and all of us have seen this, there's a much higher demand for the larger properties. There's some more heavy lifting in terms of the hospitality and making sure things are in right, especially when you've got amenities like hot tubs and swimming pools. But I think it's well worth the effort when you look at the difference in revenue compared to a one-bedroom unit that's going to net you, $3,000 a month, where you've got a higher-end property could be $25,000 to $30,000 a month in revenue. So for that additional revenue, you've got to expect some additional work. And so we've kind of made a shift over the last 12 to 18 months in our growth pattern as far as the type of property. And I think it's productive to be able to, as an operator and as a manager, understand the nuances and the different property types and the types of opportunities, and to be able to accept that you can adjust and adapt your goals accordingly as you learn. And so I think that's what we've done over time, and we'll continue to kind of tweak and adjust that as we learn more things, constantly learning every week. So.
What is a time that you can tell us, or that you maybe remember, where we may have done something to add value to your business or helped you with a win?
Yeah, so I love that you guys are always thinking outside of the box, and you're always looking for adapting to what's going on in the market and creating opportunity. One good example of that is what you guys have done with the midterm rentals and kind of building out an infrastructure to support not only your own inventory, but also expanding that out and branching it out. I mean, I think you guys early on, before a lot of folks saw the value in kind of spending and investing the time with those relationships, and also recognize that you become more valuable to those relationships as you give a larger access to inventory. And so I think that's just one example of where you guys have kind of said, we've got two families looking for properties in your market. If you're interested, it's a 60-day booking, blah, 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 blah. You guys make a little referral fee, which you should, but it keeps the whole overall long-term plan going and feeding that continually. So that's just one example of kind of, we could all kind of stay in our lane and do our own thing, but I think you guys have done a good job of kind of, taking a step back and looking at where those other opportunities are.
What do you like or admire about our company? And this is a lot for us coming from you, where we highly respect, your operations and think you have a pretty good operations and respectable business as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that, the sophistication level, with yourself and with Cody, with technology, I talked earlier about kind of having a direct focus, and I think you guys do well as a team to have that dedicated and direct focus for the different things. You're more business development, relationship driven. Cody's more on the technology side, and I think you guys are ahead of the curve here for sure.
Wonderful. We appreciate that information and that insight. Good. We want to ask a hard question. You know us for 3 years. You know a lot of the same people we know. We kind of mingle in the same groups. A little bit of gossip going on. We're not asking you to outspout who your people are, who's talking bad about us. But Rich, it would really help us out if we understand, even if we really have to swallow it. What are some bad things you've heard about us? Where can we improve? What are we doing wrong?
Yeah, we can all improve on everything that we do, and honestly, there's not anything negative that I can report back that I've seen as far as about your company, about what your organization does. I would hope that you would do the same if you found out there's any negative things about me. But so honestly, I don't think there's anything I can point to say, hey, this is one area you should probably take a closer look at. But if I do hear anything, I'll let you know.
We made it clear. You let us know. If not, we'll take you. You'll be our the guy who sold us out. So Pontius Pilate. And then lastly, how can we continue to foster the peer-to-peer in the industry, and more importantly, a year from now, we go back and we look at this and see how we come. How can we help you in the next year? What can we do to help you? In your business, so that way we could see, hey, a year from now, what we may have done, and how you come and ask you that. Hey, how far have we come?
Yeah. No. So I think, like a lot of us, we're looking at a lot of different angles as this industry evolves and different opportunities. I've told you guys recently, I'm looking at some more new developments in the Caribbean, and for me, it's kind of in discovery stages as far as what's going to be needed. But would love to get your expertise and assistance where I can rely on that and kind of pull you guys in to take a look at that. We can all learn together and perhaps work on some projects together. So.
And we're certainly excited about that opportunity to carry it along, because we certainly don't have much experience in that international space as well. Well, Rich, we really appreciate it. We value your friendship and your fellowship that we have, and everything we learn, and love listening to your podcast. Do you want to shout out your podcast real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a weekly podcast at 5 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays for BNB Investing Group. And we basically talk to experienced investors, much like what Rob and Cody are doing today. And we talk about their experiences, how they got started, what they've learned along the way. And so most of our members of the group are starting out with short-term rentals or wanting to scale a business. And so we look at different niches. We've talked to folks that are doing glamping, container homes, luxury tree houses, all different asset classes and different specialties. We all know there's a lot of different ways to work in the short-term rental model. You can acquire properties, fix them up. You can do master lease strategy. You can manage properties. So we look at all the different attributes of that. We also talk to different service providers, and so a lot of the different technology platforms like Price Labs, for example, price optimization tools, channel managers, all those things that help make our lives a little easier and automate our business. We talk to them about their platforms, how they work, and kind of share that with everybody. So BNB Investing Group on Facebook, look us up, and I would love to have you guys check us out.
Thank you again, Rich. It's been our pleasure to have you.
Thanks
for all the stuff. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.